I was thinking the other day, my goal in life is to become a legend. My goal in life is to become the best version of myself. There's a lot of challenges all around the corner, and you can take those as problems. You can get depressed over it and be a victim to these, or you can be challenged and it's a game that I gotta figure this part out. I would manage to make $100 to go spend it on one pair of jeans.
Really?
But I was like, how are you wearing $100 jeans and I can buy 10 of those?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is,
yes,
right? This is a very simple equation. I'm leading a company, I'm leading a team. I owe it for my team to be a great leader, the best of the best. I owe it to my customers who trust me to be at my best performance, having all the knowledge that possibly I can have, and being a good advisor. When you come from this intention, you act differently. You start spending money on yourself differently. You start improving yourself differently. We're smoking a Dominican cigar, Dominican made, from the filler to the binder to everything pretty much. It's all Dominican made. It's there's a company in Punta Cana.
Yep.
It's not your typical big names.
Yeah.
And this cigar, they do it for the jefe, the boss over there. It's like a special blend, aged for 8 years.
It's an exclusive line they have.
line they have. They don't quite sell yet.
Yep.
But I was able to get 50 cigars of those. I'm down to 20. Well, now to 18.
Now 18, right?
Yeah, as well, a couple of those.
Thank you for bringing the special stuff, man.
Absolutely, man.
I'm excited for this.
You're very special. So
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, let's light it up. So the way to light it up, you have to...
that's a completely different lighter for sure, man.
Go around it, you want to have an even... what do you call it? Toast, roast, whatever it is.
I've never seen a lighter like that. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, this is the like a straight line. It's people use those tree burners, like the tree heads. Man, that burns the cigar. I don't like it. So this one, give it a good amount of flame, so evenly.
Guys, we're going for a treat here. This is the GK experience.
Absolutely.
The GK experience. So I just go around. You gotta show me, man. I'm not much of an expert here.
I go down like this with this one here. I put it down. Here, come here.
The full GK.
I'll light it up for you.
As you can see, I'm on a tour here.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
I don't even have proper ashes holders.
No problem, man. The good thing is that's a really good cigar, so the ashes will not drop all over the place.
So that's also a difference between a good cigar and another one. Like
it is.
I've seen that you're not supposed to smoke it like a regular cigar or a cigarette.
So the way it is, it's one leaf from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
That's what. I mean, they're all kind of known for when you have a good cigar, they don't really like cut leaves and just put all the leftovers together. So, brother, enjoy it.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you for the coffee. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
All right, man.
Cheers. All right, guys. So here I am with my good friend and colleague, George Khoury. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Khoury, whatever.
And someone that I have a lot of respect and admiration. You're local here in South Florida, young entrepreneur like myself that have built like something very, very special for yourself and for your family and for your team. You are a owner of a brokerage, boutique brokerage with more than, well, not so small, more than 80 agents right now. You have your own real estate team.
Correct.
Only 33 years old.
Yeah.
And you have a property management division, real estate investor. You're a hustler, man. It's a lot to cover. Very nice guy. And that someone that have definitely built a presence here in real estate in South Florida. You're now fully or very heavy into luxury, selling millions in mansions here in Fort Lauderdale. I see all the times your listings, man, and I seen your growth because I've been doing this for 8 years now. You've been doing it for how long now?
About 12.
About 12 years?
Actually, just turned 12 years.
12 years doing this.
I'm
So,
a senior in the business,
Yes.
obviously, right? A decade.
yes. So I seen the growth, and it's super exciting, man. It's super exciting. You're a family guy, 2 small kids. You married Dominican like myself, so it cannot go better than that,
Can
right?
work with that, you know?
Right? So you get the good stuff, the coffee, so you get to go there too. So, man, super excited to have you here and share your story. You, like myself, have a heavy accent, or have an accent. So we're both,
I love it.
right? Right? It makes us different.
Absolutely.
So you're definitely an immigrant like myself. Where are you from? Did you grow up here? When did you move? And when did you start in real estate?
Well, let me start first. Thank you for the introduction. You know, I really appreciate you. Have a lot of respect, mad respect to you. Just like, you know, you're saying, I've seen you grow as well. Remember when we met?
Yes.
Well, a while ago.
A little while. We've done lunch together.
So, you know, I'm actually very proud of your growth as well.
Thank
and
you,
to be
brother.
surrounded by people like yourself in this industry, you know, it's actually a privilege. So I love what you're doing, man. Everything
you.
you're
Thank you
doing
so much.
is very impressive, you know.
You are an inspiration for sure. And we're going to talk about, especially for 75 hard, something that I got to experience and that it changed my life. And you were one of the ones that I saw that went through it multiple times and inspired me to do it. So the respect is definitely mutual. So
I appreciate it. But, you know, inspiration is one thing, but really putting in the work,
Yeah.
that's really entirely on you. And that's what a lot of people don't really lack in today's world. So that's something to really be proud of. And it's actually showing in your work, your business. You know, you have a beautiful home, beautiful, you know, family. So, you know, same thing applies to you, brother.
Thank you, man. Looking
I
forward
appreciate
to
it.
build more. So
Absolutely.
talk to me from the beginning. Where are you from? Where do you grow up? And when do you move to this country?
Yeah, so I am originally from Lebanon.
Lebanon.
I grew up in right south Lebanon, between the border between Israel and Lebanon. So pretty much what's happening right now with the war, we've seen it all. As a matter of fact, my grandfather, my dad, and pretty much part of my life was living in that kind of war. Not so much the way it is right now, but it was a war zone pretty much. We had a lot of appreciation for life. However, it came with a very sense of you gotta always be careful in life. So
having that sense of protection all the time.
Yeah, so you're always gonna be careful in life, and that kind of is what I recently kind of was able to deal with and get over with, because you know, too careful is not good either. So anyway, 10 years after, you know, year 2000, we moved to the capital. Lived there for about 8 years, and I
when you say we, who? Like you and
me and my family.
Your family.
So we had a part of the family still in the village. But again, Lebanon is like Dominican Republic. It's a very small country. I mean, I think you guys are even bigger. You know, we're
What is the population around?
4 million.
4 million, yeah.
So you can go from one side to the other in a couple of hours.
Couple hours.
Well, let's say 3 hours.
Yeah.
So here to Orlando, you're actually went through Lebanon one time and a change.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
Wow,
So it's a very small country.
Okay.
So when I say we moved an hour and a half away. It's like going to Miami.
So you come from a small part of Lebanon.
Correct.
Then from there you moved to the capital. Similar experience like mine. I actually grew up in a small town in the Dominican Republic and then moved to the capital.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so what brought you guys to the capital?
We were occupied by Israel up to 2000. 2000 Israel pretty much left Lebanon. So we just, you know, the borders opened up pretty much. Everything was easier, like travel-wise.
Yeah.
It takes about an hour and a half to get to the capital versus before it was about 4 to 5 hours, and it wasn't safe. So, you know, we decided to go to the capital, more opportunities, you know, more work, better schools. I mean, obviously there's no college in my village. You know, it's like a very small, I think it was about 12,000 people. So you really know everybody.
It's like everybody knew each other.
Yeah, man.
You couldn't do anything wrong.
No, you can't even sneeze, right? If you sneeze, you know, your parents are like, why are you sneezing? You know, we heard
from
that.
the other side.
Yeah, we heard from that person who told the other person who told the other.
And then, like, if they don't know you, they know your parents. All they got to ask is your last name. It's like, oh, no, we know where your family is.
It's funny enough, man. Till now, we still go by the name and the father's name.
Meaning that you have the 2 last names?
So we don't have a middle name in Lebanon, but they know you by your father's name, or by your dad. Like, you know, so who's this kid? he's the son of that person.
Oh, got you.
You know, so
Got
it's
you.
always it almost became like a nickname, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you know, the son of that person, like, you know,
Yes.
George, the son of Joseph.
Like back in times.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's a very, very old school. And I loved it, man. I loved it. It's so peaceful there, you know. People
I
live very
seen whenever you
simple.
go and you post on social media, there's a lot of similarities, and you could tell the peace that you feel going back home.
Absolutely.
Which is very refreshing a lot of the time.
Listen, home will always be home, right? So for me, USA is home. This is home. I mean, I wouldn't trade this country for anything in the world. Still, you have a sense of home that you feel different when you go to the area where you pretty much grew up. I mean, that is your first, 10, 15, 20 years of your life.
I know exactly what you mean, because it happens to me too. I love this country. I feel that it's my home. But when you're raised in a different background, different country, it's like that's your motherland.
Yeah.
You know, so you feel more attached to it.
Correct. Now, frankly, I can't live back there.
Yeah.
So when people say,
Same here.
so they say that's one thing about being an immigrant, right? You don't know, like you can't really like pick, right? Over here, you're still missing back there. Back there, you can't live back there because now you live, you feel more belonging over here. So it's listen, I love it here. I go there, once a year.
Got you.
Couple of weeks.
You moved to the capital, Lebanon, because of obviously political circumstances, security, and everything. Now you lived there until when? When do you move to the U.S.?
I was 18 years old and 2 weeks. It was February 22nd, 2008.
Damn, you remember exactly the date. And who moved here? Your mom?
So I had my uncle was living here. So
you came by yourself?
Yes, well, my uncle was here and my dad was here temporary for just few months. Situations were really bad over there. It was bad to a point that we can be chilling here right now and 5 minutes after a freaking bomb just explodes.
The same reason that you moved from the small village that you're from,
correct,
to the capital,
correct,
to the U.S. It was more than anything for
so
political.
It's more, listen, this is still the safest country in the world.
Yeah.
It's still the best country in the world. This is a kind of, because it bothers me a little bit, right? Not a little bit, a lot. That people here, they don't know anything about how it is to live in a third world country.
Yes,
they
100%.
think they know.
They think they know.
Now they see the war happening and they think they know about the war. But in reality, guys, until you live in it, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You just hear and see and think about the feeling, how it is to be living in that unsafe environment.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people, and I have that conversation, it's very hard because you don't want to come across offending someone. But at the same time, when you leave that experience outside of the U.S. is when you start appreciating more what we have here.
Listen, there's talking about offending someone. You're not offending them. They're getting offended because of whatever reason it is.
100%, it's true.
Because the reality is this: I bet you right now, if I put an ad, American people are tired of living in the USA, and they want to trade spots with Lebanese people. I bet you right now we will have 3.5 million Lebanese
wanting to trade.
Not wanting, already packing their bags.
Packing and everything.
And on the way to the airport.
That's a good point. It is true. It is true. Sometimes it takes going outside to be able to understand. And I try to do that and explain. I've been doing mission trips to Guatemala, one of the poorest country in this side of the hemisphere. And what we do is build houses for widows and single moms. It's a very cool experience.
Really?
And yeah.
Through who?
I have a friend, he has a foundation. He's been doing that for more than 20 years now. Hundreds of properties that we build. But we're talking about like building 4 walls, block concrete walls, and a roof. But that's a mansion for them.
This gave me a goosebump, bro, because I don't know if you know, we teamed up with Food for the Poor.
I know that you do philanthropy. I want to talk about that too.
We built 23 homes in Guatemala and 1 daycare.
Oh, that's awesome. Guatemala too, that's awesome. So you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. So, I know exactly how it is.
And you have that sense of, one of the reasons, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, one of the reasons that you probably do that is because you experienced that, you've seen that. Coming from a country where there's lack of resources, like you understand the value or the push that you can do for those people?
So
Either
let me tell you,
donating resources or actually going and doing.
So we never had that kind of problem.
Yep.
Like I want to be, so we had, sometimes you try to compensate for something else.
Yeah.
With something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So thank God, I grew up in a great family. My parents were able to provide us pretty much everything that is essential. It wasn't really a luxury; it was just essential.
Yeah.
So, however, safety, we never had that. You never had a sense of feeling safe, which means that today you can be sleeping today, and you're praying that you will wake up the next day. So when your life gets to that point where, and again, you're a kid. You're talking about 9, 8, 10 years old kid. You're talking about adults who know how to handle this. Even adults don't even know how to handle this.
Yep.
You don't know how to handle this at 30, 40-year-old. So when you grow up in that kind of atmosphere, you start seeing that there's some essentials in life.
Yep.
Listen, everybody should have.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, because if you ask me, even from what I'm from, safety is probably the only thing. Whenever I have this conversation, because I love my country. I love my country. You've been there. Obviously, your wife is Dominican. You go there often. So you appreciate. We have good coffee. We have good cigars. These cigars
my coffee is Dominican.
There,
my cigar is Dominican.
And you were telling me off camera that your culture is very similar to ours.
Correct.
So I could see how you can appreciate it. And I love my country, right? But every time that I have had the conversation of like, maybe would I ever go back, and live there and maybe retire there? The only thing that could stop me from that is safety. Because that's the thing that I cannot control. Even if you go back with resources and money, it's like, what does all the money in the world does if you don't feel safe? That you can build your compound, but for what? If you
100%.
getting out of your house, you have to look up over your shoulders all the time. Which it was the feeling that still until this day when you go, again, love my country, but it's not a safe country.
Yeah. So what are the essentials of life, right? First thing is to have a spot you call home. Because you and I know, listen, when you're not feeling well, when even at this point, right, when things go wrong, you come home and you say, what, thank God, at least I have a home above, I have a roof above my head. That's where you belong.
Yep.
So if you have no home, you have kind of no belonging.
Yes.
Right. And this is what it touched my heart in a specific way. I do believe that to break the cycle of poverty with people, they need to have a home.
Yep.
They need to have food and some kind of education.
Yep.
Right. So food, education, and again, education that can be debatable. I mean, we both know it doesn't have to be school or
doesn't have to be formal education. It can be self.
It can be an example. You have an idol in your life that is educating you.
Yep.
To just keep you on the right track. Otherwise, really, there's no bottom. That is the bottom. So when I saw people in Guatemala and listen, other areas in the world, it's not specifically Guatemala. It's just we're trying to help whoever we can reach the fastest, the soonest, the easiest as well.
Yeah.
You see people they're living on the, on the not so much on the street, but like in a garbage mountain, like something like that, where see kids like this, man, you have to give them a chance.
100%. And tell me a little bit, I'm curious, because I knew that you are a philanthropist, you like to help. I remember seeing a post, you giving out a check for like $80,000 to, is it the same foundation, Food for the Poor?
we did 91 something.
$1,000, which is, it's amazing, man. Like, it's not only being able to afford that or create the resources to be able to give it, it's also having the intention of doing it. There's a difference between wanting to do it and actually doing it. So you are doing it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money, of course, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, but think, what is the intention from that? You're stopping a cycle of poverty for people. You're giving a chance for generations to come.
Yeah.
Remember that. My grandfather lived in the village. Throughout all his life, it was war. My dad lived in the village and had one leg in the capital, one leg in the village, right? I got the chance to come over here and break the cycle of whatever it is. You
Yeah.
know, the cycle of family, it took a complete different direction.
Yeah.
Why? Because somebody gave me a chance to move to USA, and I took that chance.
Yeah.
Was it easy? No, man. The first 2 years, I mean, you know, it's like hell.
Yeah.
Culture shock, language shock.
Yeah.
People tell me
I
about
tell all
my,
the time, in fact,
my
if you
accent.
think that I have a heavy accent now, you don't want to.
Brother, heavy accent. I speak 3 languages.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of having a heavy accent.
I'm curious. So you moved to the U.S. You have siblings, right? You said your dad was here, your uncle was here.
My dad was here temporary. My uncle was living here.
Okay.
Then my dad went back. I stayed with my uncle, I think a couple of years.
You said that you were 18 years old.
Correct.
What do you start doing? Like, what do? You went to school when you moved here? Did you start working?
I went to school and I had so many jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
So I started DJing, waiting
Really?
tables. I was a good DJ, actually. I
Really?
gotta admit, that was a very fun phase of my life. So I started DJing. I was waiting tables, DJing after waiting tables. So I would finish my shift at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, I would go and pretty much start DJing. I would come back home at night, you know, like 2, 3, in the morning, 4 in the morning, whatever the case. Go to sleep, wake up early, go take my classes. That was my routine for the longest time. Then from waiting
We're
tables,
talking about early 20s?
more towards 18, 19.
Okay.
Then 20, I did some car sales. I sold women's shoes at Nordstrom.
Really?
Yeah. So what do I know about women's shoes? I mean, for me, it doesn't matter, right? Like it's whatever I can do
Yes,
to make money
yes.
and pretty much keep my life moving.
That was the I guess the spirit. You came to this country. It's like whatever happened.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came to this country with the mindset that if I want to waste time,
Yep.
I might as well just stay back home. Right?
Yeah.
Because right there, you know everybody. Everybody is around you. You don't have to think much.
Yep.
You don't have to work much. We're extremely heavy. The social aspect of my country is very heavy.
Yep.
What I mean by that is the social life there is the most important. Versus in USA, the social life is not as important as your business.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So.
I know what you mean.
So this is a decision, I had to make. I'm here, pretty much I'm alone, right? Even though you have family members here, but what people don't understand is your families are busy. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a brother now here. I barely see him. I see him once a week. That's really being intentional about seeing him.
Yeah.
And sometimes it goes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. I'm like,
Yeah.
what on earth? Are you still living in the country? I mean,
He's still doing his thing. You're doing your thing. It's always like,
you sign up to the lifestyle, right? And this is what you have to understand. Like, what people don't get it is you're living 18 years of your life a certain way, and now you're in that change zone, which it takes 2 years. 2 years. It took me a easy 2 years
to be able to adapt.
to adapt to the new lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's completely different. So this is a small message for everybody there who's kind of judging the immigrants. You have no idea what we
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine taking you today from here and putting you in a complete different environment, different language, different food, different communication skills, different goals, different everything. It's a shock.
Yeah, and that's the part that I might be a little bit more careful than you when I express it, because I tell you, like, I don't want to never offend anybody, but you're right.
Brother, with all due respect, I don't mind offending anybody. I'm very straightforward.
And I like that. I've noticed that you don't mind standing for what you believe, and expressing what you believe.
100%. I'm
That's
very
something-
confident with what I have to say.
Yeah.
And it's not intended to offend anybody. It's more to shed awareness to what people
That's awesome.
miss.
That's awesome.
Right? Because we miss it too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what the homeless guy is going through.
Yep.
But you judge that guy 100 times. Every time you see him, you're like, who? Did you ever put your window down and treat that guy as a real human being?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy who's always on sample, and it's all every time. I go to work and I come back, and we started a conversation just to tell you how things can change when you drop your judgment. And hey, what's up? Why are you here? Long story. All right, light turned green. I kept going. Next day, tell me the story. So now you realize this guy went through hell for him to be here.
Yeah.
But we judge them by being drug addict, by being.
It's like you don't even want to give him money because you think you start judging that he's going to use it.
Now,
for
frankly,
drugs.
some people are bad, right? But listen, you can't just take a propaganda, right? They call it
Yeah.
whatever. Like you just say, all Lebanese people are
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
because
And
somebody there,
generalize, you know.
one person there did something bad. So in reality is, listen, there's bad people in every area of this
Yeah.
world. There's good people as well as, I mean, it's good and bad.
And again, you at least, like, it's like I was telling you, I've seen that you don't mind expressing what you believe and standing for what you believe, but at this, it's like you're also living a life, an example life. Let's put it that way. You're a family guy. Family is a big deal for you.
100%.
You're married. You have your kids. You could tell by the way that you behave and promote yourself. That's a big part of you. You're a philanthropist. You help people.
100%.
And like, if somebody have the right to stand, their belief, I feel there's somebody that is living it too.
Yeah.
And is doing right things.
I
You help their community
love what
too.
you just said. And the same thing goes to you, brother. I mean, you're
Thank
preaching what you're living.
Yep.
And that's the most amount of conviction you can have. And that's what you call passion, right? You can tell when people are preaching you from the books and when people are preaching you from their lifestyle. There's a big difference.
It's
right?
true. That's good.
So when I tell you, like, you do the ice bath, right? Oh, you should do the ice bath. It's great for you. It has all of these, health benefit, and you start going to all the health benefit. That's more like a book side. For me, man, I don't care for those benefits. What I care about, it gets my mind straight.
Yeah. So you do it for the psychological part than more than the
100%. It
than the
means
actual
a lot to
physical
me.
benefits.
Listen, physical. I mean, it's always an add-on.
So would you say, because you're a very disciplined person, again, you've done 75 hard, you were one of the few people that inspired me to do it. You still do the ice baths. Even this morning you had one, I saw you. So you're where does that come from? That discipline, was it, have you always been like that, or is that something that you developed?
No, man, I wasn't born like this. And I have a quote on my bathroom, great men aren't born this way, they just grow to be this way. Discipline, I mean, to think about it.
You work out, ice bath.
I stopped drinking completely 7 months ago.
Really?
Zero alcohol. I tried to have a couple of sips, I don't know when, with a friend. Just that's it. I mean, I completely stopped that. And you know how I was with my scotch and bourbon.
Of course, especially if you like to smoke. It's like it's no better way to accompany that.
Yeah. So you develop these things, and for everybody who's trying to develop discipline, it's like a muscle, right? You go today, you lift 10 pounds. Tomorrow you do 15. The next day you do 20.
Yeah.
Sometimes you skip. Sometimes you mess up. Nobody is perfect. I mean, and whoever claims to be perfect.
And let me ask you, because let's talk about a little bit of confidence. I've seen part of your growth in this industry in real estate. You started selling the average price point, and now you're into luxury.
Correct.
I feel that one of the main factors to switch from the average price point here in South Florida, the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 property, to sell million, 5 million, 10 millions. One of the main factors to switch to that target audience, you got to be confident.
Correct.
Where does that come from? Like, have you ever been like that? Is it culturally like that, or do you have to build it yourself?
You have to build it yourself. So actually, it's funny you're saying this. I was thinking the other day, I was really having a deep talk with myself. My goal in life is to become a legend. I'm a legend right now. I believe that already. That's awesome. Because that is. That's so, awesome. So what's a legend?
You don't wait
me?
Somewhere to tell it to you. It's like you got to tell it to yourself.
So this is a legend to me, right? Yeah. This is the best version of me. That's the version 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So when I say a legend, it's more meaningful to me than to any whatever people take it. I mean, they have their own meanings to it.
Yeah.
So my goal in life is to become the best version of myself.
That's awesome.
And that will kind of put pressure on my kids to, to take it from there and
when you say the best version of yourself, not necessarily try to compare it with somebody else.
No. Listen, you can't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 100. You can't, and we're living in a very comparative kind of world right now. Everybody on Instagram posting good stuff. Listen, I get it, right? But yeah, once you drop that desire to be better than someone else, that's when you start really be inspired to be the best version of yourself.
That's good.
So my goal in life is to be the best version of myself. That inspires me to do whatever it takes to keep growing.
And what would you say that are the things that you do to on a daily or constant base to be able to be the best version of yourself?
A lot of mindset work. It's really a lot of mindset and skill set. So I do believe there's two components, which is mindset and skill set.
Mindset and skills.
Yeah, so you got to work on your mind. First, do you believe you can sell a $10 million home? Because if you don't believe that, you can have the best skills in the world and it will go down the drain.
That's good. That's so
Number
good.
two is, do you have okay, believing in something is great. Now, do you have the skills to get the job done? That's number two. So those two come together and in a way that
The sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit, and you're gonna be willing to fail. So people see, all right, man, you just sold a $10 million property. Wow, that's amazing. The overnight success, right? I posted a picture about Messi. It took him 17 years and 144 days to have his overnight success. Which means what? I've been really targeting the luxury market for the past 3-4 years. I went through multiple listing appointments. I failed miserably, but I was willing to look into where I failed.
Maybe you had the mindset, but didn't have the skills.
Yeah, so I had to improve the skills, right? One time after the other, the third, the fourth, the fifth time. Now you have a full package. This applies to,
So in essence, what you're saying is to be able to build that confidence, or pretty much target or accomplish anything, you gotta have the mindset and the skills. Especially in our industry.
100%.
Regardless of the direction that you want to go, you got to have the mindset and the skills. If you're missing one of those two ingredients, then it's going to be very hard to.
And I missed one point, the right intentions. This is what I see happening in real estate right now. People don't have the right intention about real estate, which is it's serving the customer.
Gotcha.
Right. So you're gonna have the right mindset that you're the right person for the job. I got it. I can get it done. I'm gonna do it no matter what. You're gonna build your skills. Right. How can you advise your customer? You have to be the best of the best, with the intention of the end goal is really, yes, I want to sell that $10 million property. That's one of my goals. The second goal is I want to have the ultimate customer service experience for them, because if we don't have that intention, you'll see people will go up and then will go down next day, and you can tell the realtors or the brokers who are not really so involved with their customers, right? Involved in giving the best customer relationship.
You can get lost in the numbers. You focus on the numbers.
100%.
Production.
100%.
It's like you start missing the human factor and treating everything and anyone as a number, how much it could make it.
And this is what's happening right now, brothers. That's why our industry is facing a big shift, and the shift is coming, by the way. Shift of in
you don't
real
think
estate.
that it's already here?
This is just the
tip.
This is the small tip.
Really? You think that the market overall is gonna get worse?
I'm not talking about the market. I'm talking about the industry.
The industry.
The real estate industry is, and that can be a prediction. Even though a lot of people say no way, everybody, realtors, we're in trouble. We're in trouble because the majority of us have the wrong intention and have the wrong goals from this business. Making money is definitely should, and whatever should, I don't like to use should so much. Making money is definitely one of the big goals. It can be the only goal. You can't be self-centered in this business.
But what would you say would be another goal, like impact?
Brother, we have a lot of impact on people's life. I mean, imagine someone screwing you up with the sale. Imagine a realtor not doing the right due diligence, and forgetting something extremely important. You have not even tens of thousands, because the escrow is a small part of it. Imagine you purchasing this property and the realtor missed something major. That can lead to really destroying your family, man.
Your family, it's true.
Stress leads to, lack of money. Lack of money leads to stress. Stress leads to not having the right component in your family. So I'm not saying as a realtor I started with this intention in mind. Obviously, I was
looking
for my success.
yourself, yeah.
I realized really early enough that the best way of maintaining this success and building on it is really making the customer your
priority. That makes
Right?
sense.
So, and that's why I'm telling you the shift is coming. Whenever you see the majority of people in anything in life, let's take a country right now.
Yeah.
Forget about real estate. Let's take a country. The majority of people are rebels. You do have some good ones, but the majority of people are not good. What's going to happen with that country? It's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's happening in the real estate industry. The majority of realtors right now, they aren't invested in their knowledge. They don't know how to write a contract.
Yep.
They're just simply door openers.
Yep.
And we as industry, we lost the majority of the customers' confidence in us, and we allowed other online tools to step in and take a big share from us. And if you think it's gonna stop here, you're very mistaken.
Yes, you're completely right, and I agree with that. It's like we're letting some big disruptors, big thinkers, innovators taking over our industry because of the lack
100%.
of preparation. And I've seen also in your particular case, you're not shy in investing on yourself, on your growth. You're always going to conference. I've seen pictures with Tony Robbins at my led.
Absolutely.
How much do you invest in your business? Because in my case, and that's a hard truth. Like I've at the beginning of my career, I didn't invest. I didn't see the value. I didn't understand, and it's something that I would definitely would do different if I have to go back.
Of course.
How much do you invest, or you think that realtors should invest in themselves?
So every realtor out there need to have either a strong broker, a strong broker, a great brokerage culture, and a coach. I've had a coach since 2015. The coach nowadays, I mean, listen, the average price is $1,000 per month.
Yep.
Let's say I spend $1,000 per month over the course of 8 years I've had a coach. You're talking about 100 and change, right?
Wow.
Oh, it's been 9 years, 2014. Actually, yeah, even before, 2013 I started. Before I bought my first house, I had a coach. So, this year alone, I think I'm close to 100,000.
Just in private coaching. That's without
Investing in myself. Brian, listen, brother, this is a very simple equation, right? I'm leading a company, I'm leading a team. I owe it for my team to be a great leader, the best of the best. I owe it to my customers who trust me to be at my best performance, having all the knowledge that possibly I can have, and being a good advisor, right? When you come from this intention, you act differently. You start spending money on yourself differently. You start improving yourself differently. We didn't come from this culture. We didn't come from a business. I mean, listen, my family is great, right? They're great to whatever they know. It's my job to take this to a whole different level, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're leading, and again, let's talk about this, man, because I'm very vocal about my opinion. Not everybody, the majority of people's dream as a realtor is to become a broker.
Yeah.
Why? Because why not? I can charge the realtors a part of their commission. That is the only intention they have.
It's like to leverage on the fact that I can make money out of someone else.
Great. And listen, it's great. I'm not discounting from that fact.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits. Now, on the other side, do you guys understand how much it takes to be a good broker? Be better yet, a great broker? I mean, it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of knowledge. And I see a lot of people out there who aren't even investing in themselves.
And this is true. Something that I realized, again, I have had a lot of growth in the last few years because I put myself in the right rooms, which I know that you would agree to that. Part of investing is putting yourself in the right rooms.
100%.
With people that can teach you that. And something that I've learned, I think it was from Gene Rom, that he says, you don't get more by doing more. You get more by becoming more, which is what we're talking about, investing in yourself.
100%.
Investing in yourself. It's one of the things that I keep telling people. You cannot be shy when it comes to investing in yourself, in your growth. Either learning skills or mindset, both. to your point, which is are essentials for any area that you want to be successful, any niche within the real estate industry. Okay, now I got that, and I would say you have invested throughout your career hundreds of thousands of dollars on yourself, only yourself.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about your business, your team.
Absolutely.
Anything.
That's just my personal growth.
And
that's what it takes to be a great leader.
And that investing in yourself and becoming more have made you more. Because we're all here for,
100%.
To acquire resources, to generate money for yourself. We talk about, you like to help people, which is awesome. Tell me more about spending on yourself, not investing in spending. Something that I like about you too is like you're not also shy on, living a good life.
Absolutely.
Enjoying a good cigar.
Absolutely.
No matter how much it may cost.
Absolutely.
And I know that you live in a nice neighborhood, drive nice cars.
Absolutely.
I
pamper myself. I pamper my
How important
my family.
is that for someone that is, having success, growing, and making money? How important it is to, would you say, about treating yourself as you grow?
It's really important to me. Right, we don't want to generalize this because I see some people who they have a lot of funds and resources and they're still in this mindset of I can't spend. It's like you're hoarding your money for your kid to spend it.
Yeah.
Or for.
And the reason I ask is because you're young. You're 33 years old.
Yeah.
And again,
brother, I want to spend it all. This is my mindset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it all. I'm gonna spend it all.
Have you read this book called Die with Zero?
No.
It's very good. And the concept of the book, it's about that. It's like we're trained and programmed to just save and invest 401k and this and that.
Investing is great for the future, and this is a good point, right? You don't want to overspend on yourself. You really want to build a life of comfort, right? And this is where people miss the point. We're young, we can make it today. But if you spend it all today, you're going to get to a point where when you're down the line at 60, 70 year old, where your energy is not the same, now you don't have much to spend.
Yep, 100%.
So you want to be smart about this in a way. Listen, you work hard, you play hard.
So is that something that you had to grow into, being intentional about enjoying yourself? Or is this something that it's always been you? You always have that realization? Because for me, I've always, that is something that from the beginning, I've always had that clear. That yes, I'm conservative with my spending. I invest too. I know the importance of saving for the future, investing for the future. But at the same time, I don't want to live this life where I split it in two. It's like the first half of my life, it's like work, invest, save. And then after 40, 50, 60 years old, it's like, let me enjoy.
Yeah.
Because the second half of your life is no guarantee.
Correct.
That's why that for me doesn't work.
So the change I had to make is actually spend less.
Spend less.
And start investing some more.
Really? So you don't have any problem?
No, man, this is not my problem at all. I'm the kid who growing up, and you're talking about in Lebanon, right? And I used to drive my dad crazy. Poor thing, man. So I would manage to make $100 to go spend it on one pair of jeans.
Really?
But I was like, what's wrong with how are you wearing $100 jeans and I can buy 10 of those?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is, right? Yes. So yeah, I never had that issue. The issue, what I had to change is, listen, man, it's time to start investing.
Yeah.
And become smart.
But that's what you just said. I've seen that in a few people too, where because you have the mindset of liking nice stuff and to some extent having higher standards for yourself, it's like you like nice stuff, you spend it on. So it's like, okay, now I gotta work to make more because
correct.
I want to go after the next nice stuff.
Correct. And I've always had this mindset that let's stop cutting down the costs, let's increase the revenue, 100%. The income.
It's true, 100%. It's like sometimes we focus on try to close ourselves or compress, but why not focusing on making more?
Yeah. To each its own, right? Mm-hmm. Some people enjoy themselves with spending less because their motive in life is to, leave it for their kids or leave it for their grandkids. My motive in life is very simple. I want to become the best version of myself, and I'm going to teach my kid how to have that mindset. So I let's say I go from 10 to 50, 60. in the mindset wise, right? Let's say I'm gonna give that to my son.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get much money from me. He's gonna get maybe some investment.
Yeah.
And it's really what I'm gonna pour into him is not so much money, because the kid, without having, brother, let's talk about me, man. If you would have given me $1 million when I was 20 years old, I would spend that in 1 month, right? But if you give me a knowledge to become a millionaire at 20 years old, I can make it over and over and over again. And it's a proven theory, because you see people, like, for example, I mean, the most recent example is Trump, right? He goes from being whatever, 13, 14 billion dollar to being broke, to coming back and do it again.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever. I mean,
There's
I
so
just
many
use an
examples
example.
like
Yeah,
that,
so many
100%,
examples. So it's not per
100%.
se just Trump. A lot of people, and this is a part of being a business owner and becoming, right? Becoming the person who can make this.
Yes.
Right? It's not so much what you have, it's who you're becoming.
Who you're becoming.
Making
And
that.
That's powerful. That's very powerful. And it's true. My coach recently told me, because we have conversations, you know, it's easy to get into this mindset, especially when the market changed, that you know that you're not having necessarily the same production. Things are not going the way that you expected or you would want to kind of like analyze yourselves and man and you know, get into this pity party with yourself. It's like, man. But he told me, like, Brian, you're gonna die rich. Like, you better know that. You're going to die rich, because it's not about what you have right now, it's about what it's in here.
Yeah.
To your point, like, once you know how to make money and you know how the system works, it doesn't matter the current circumstances. It's just the current circumstances.
Absolutely. And back to your word, right, about what's happening right now. And this is something that actually helps me a lot, and to just keep my mindset straight. So 5 years from now, are you going to remember today that you're feeling bad and you're facing some issues in your
100%.
life?
Yep.
Would this day really count that much?
100%.
Not really, but you know what counts is how you handle today.
Yes.
Because you have a choice today. Listen, you're living, listen, the market got tough, right, on a lot of people. Even though it's been the best year for me this year so far.
Really, that's awesome.
And you know, we go through markets, you go through life challenges, you know, you go through family challenges, you go through everything. But sometimes we give it so much attention to a point that it robs us from really living today.
Yeah.
You know, making a difference today, changing our direction today, taking that step towards a better 5 years from now.
Yeah. And that's where mindset comes into place.
Yeah. And life will never be easy. It's not going to be easy. You know, I know a lot of people pray for ease and pray for a less challenging life. And that's something I really appreciate in myself. I never prayed for that. I never prayed that God takes away the problem from my life. I don't know what happened in my life, but this was never on my agenda. I never begged God.
You never pray for, like, God changing your circumstances.
No, I always prayed for strength. That's the only thing I ask, you know, God and you know, the universe and whatever you want to call it. I ask for strength.
Yeah.
That I know for a fact I have it in me.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me of this quote that I have in my house, which says, God doesn't give us what we can handle. He helps us handle what we're given.
100%.
Which is what you're saying, you know, it's like it's not about praying about changing your circumstances. It's to give you the grip, the power, the resilience.
Which you already have. To be honest with you, you already have it. God said it. You know, I created you. I made you on my own image. Yeah. You're. I mean, if you want to go really deep in this, you know, if you make something,
I want to touch a little bit how much, you know, faith have helped yourself in your business too. Like,
oh man, you're gonna have faith. Man. You have to have faith.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't believe in anything at all, you know. So when you believe in I'm gonna just say in a God, right? Because I don't disagree with different beliefs. I don't you know, I don't claim my belief is the only belief. And I respect all religion, all spirituality.
Yeah.
To each his own, right? But we all agree on the fact that, listen, you're here on earth for a reason, right? You have a mission, you have a karma to go through, you have God, you know, brought you on earth, one out of, I don't know how many billion, million, whatever the case is. So you were chosen. And in reality, each one of us is a chosen one. Think about it, right? Admanet talks about, I am the one.
I am the one, yes.
I am the one.
Yeah.
I am the one who made it through. For a reason. Now, when you believe in this,
Yeah.
you act completely
Wow.
in a different way, right? Because what the hell am I doing here? Well, you have a reason to be here,
Yes.
and everything you're facing in your life, you do possess everything you need to actually overcome it. It's just a challenge.
That's awesome. Something that I've learned through my belief too. I'm a Christian, and I have a good friend. He's a pastor and a mentor, and me and my wife used to go to, well, we still do, to a Bible study. And one of the things that he shared with us is like, if you truly believe what you say that you believe, like, you will act differently.
Yeah.
And one of the things which, I believe in is in eternity. There's a life after this one, right? At least with my belief, that's part of it. And believing in eternity, it eliminates this anxiety of like the constant needing to accomplish stuff because there's an end to it, right? At least in my case, that's something that literally once I start seeing life in that way, it's like, we're gonna live here, what, 70, 80, maybe 90 years if we're lucky. But the fact is, when you start thinking like, this is just temporary, eternity is forever. This is just, I'm gonna try to make the most out of it in these 80, 90 years. But there's an afterlife after this. Even if I don't get whatever I think that I should be getting in this life, it's okay.
Yeah.
So it eliminates that anxiety of like, I have to do this, or I have to accomplish this, or I have to get this, acquire this and that, because there's an afterlife.
Yeah. Going back to what you're saying as well, there's always that should and need and must versus, and I've been doing some work lately that actually kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things we should do, a lot of ways we should be. There's always that should that put pressure on everything versus you're inspired to become somebody. You're inspired to be somebody. You're inspired. When you put that inspiration fact in it, everything becomes a part of the process.
Yes. And reflecting on where you come from, there's this quote that I learned, or one of the first quotes that I learned when I started getting into personal development. It says, I am where I am. I'm not where I could be, would be, or should be. You use the word should. But thank God I'm not where I was. Yeah. Sometimes we're just looking in the future, man, the next thing, and we forget where we come from.
100%. And you gotta appreciate where you're at, man.
If you're gonna compare with something, compare yourself with who you were before.
Correct, 100%.
And that alone will give you the, man. Yeah. Sometimes like I'm so into the future and the next thing and building projects, the podcast, this and that, and it's exhausting. It's like, it's exciting but also exhausting. But it's not until start going through freaking Facebook memories, you start seeing, even it probably happened to you, that you see yourself DJing.
Yeah.
That was fun. I was probably broke. I wasn't in the same situation, but that was fun. That was like, I came from that. Seeing the comments, I don't know if it happens to you, when Facebook memories remind you stuff that you used to post, it's like, man, I used to think like that.
I know. You're absolutely right.
It's like I come from that. And then once you go back and you realize, like, thank God I'm not where I was. It's like, that's when you see the growth. But you got to be intentional with the growth.
I agree with you, man. You're absolutely right. You're so focused on the future that you forget to live today.
Yep.
Even the Bible, Jesus was preaching and he said, are you taking time to smell the lilies, to observe how God feeds the bird, just like to really live in the moment that is so precious that you have today, right? Like, I'm here with you. We're creating this moment together, right? I'm not thinking about the other million thing I gotta do after this. That's why, like, I'm really getting the best out of this moment, right now. We're chilling, smoking cigars, talking. So opportunity really starts by, you get the opportunities by really living in the moment.
Yeah, that's
we tend a lot to overthink things and living in our head, and the shoulds and musts.
And that's why the mindset part that you mentioned skill, which is powerful, man. That was a very powerful statement. And whatever you do, you need skills and you need mindset. That's the mindset part. And to be able to grow on the mindset, that's why you have the habits. And I recently heard, you probably know Brandon Bouchard.
Yeah.
First time that I actually heard him, I knew of him but never consumed any of his content. And he gave this talk talking about happiness. And he says that there's two main factors to happiness. Like, it's simplified in two: better habits and the people that you surround yourself. Most of your happiness comes from the habits that you do on a daily basis, on a constant basis. So the better habits, stuff that you do, that cold plunge, that sets you up for the day,
Yeah.
man. That reading the book, reading the Bible, that sets you up for the day. Spending time, that morning time, being present with your kids, your wife,
Yeah.
you know, that sets you up. Whatever you have to, go through the day, like, that creates that environment and that peace in your mind before
Correct.
tackling the day. And then the surrounding yourself is this,
Yeah.
like making
I
sure that
agree
we're
with you.
intentional
I agree with you.
and having these conversations. Before jumping in this spot, we had lunch, like, and being intentional of, like, learning from each other. Like, I want to get in George's head and see how he thinks,
Yeah.
and learn one piece of this conversation. I'm going to stick to it, and it's like, wow, that is powerful.
Brother, you're 100% right.
That's
When you start thinking from this way, things will start unfolding itself.
Yep.
A lot of us think as well that that's what I was telling you about. You're always going to be careful, right? This is what I had to drop recently, because at some point I realized that as if the world is conspiring against me, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now, and that more come from a victim mindset that, growing through a war zone, and, it comes from generations where they were robbed from really living the moment and enjoying it. So, you just can't keep thinking this way about everything is so bad, because really God, the universe, the world, they want you to be happy. They want you to succeed. They want you to, but there's a rule for this game,
Yep.
right? And the rule states, listen, you have to be disciplined. You have to be intentional with what you're doing. You have
And
to
eliminate distractions.
eliminate distraction, 100%, man. The distraction is here to test you. It's a test. It's like, I'm going to that point right there, but I'm going to have 100 distraction around here to see exactly how bad I want to get to that point.
Yeah.
So if you stop with this distraction that people always get caught
that is
in.
powerful. And that is something, man, that you have to keep doing and preaching. I'm very glad that you're in my circle and that I'm able to learn from you, even looking from far, close, because, man, you're inspiring people, and I'm glad that I'm witnessing that, man. Like,
I feel the same way about
thank
you, man.
brother.
I feel the
Thank you.
same
So
way
what's-
about you.
Very last question: what is next for George Khoury?
What's next?
Yes.
A lot next. Where do we start? That's a whole podcast by
I don't know,
itself.
man. Like, so what's next as far as growth? Let's keep it that way. Growth, personal growth. Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
I see myself influencing more people,
Impacting people.
impacting more people. Yeah, by really being and holding myself accountable to be on the right track.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's powerful, because whenever you think about, like, impacting people, influencing people, you want to externalize it, and you feel that you got to go and tell them what to do and organize their life.
No. It all starts with you, man.
It all starts with you.
Yeah. So when you walk the walk, and they say, walk the walk and talk the talk, right? So you have to walk the walk first, and then you can start really talking the talk.
Yep.
Because if you don't do that, there's thousands of books. Anybody can open a book, read it, and start talking about it. And it's a great thing. There's a big difference between doing that and really living it, testing it, make sure it works, and then at that point only you give it to everybody. So, but in reality is, the bottom line is we're all here trying to learn, right?
Yeah.
We're all learning, we're all failing, we're all succeeding. We fail some more, we succeed some more.
That's good.
And
That's
when we
powerful.
succeed, I'd love to share my stories with people about failure and success as well.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
powerful.
failed, I keep failing, man, all the time, and it's fine. Like Michael Jordan, how many shots he missed to score? The baseball players. I mean, you hear about them. Yeah, they had all these home runs, but how many they missed?
Yep.
Like the guy that missed the ball the most is the one who got the most home runs. So the reality is, how much are we keep on trying, right? Rocky says, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Wow.
So in reality, life is challenged.
Yes.
There's a lot of challenges all around the corner, and you can take those as problems. You can get depressed over it and be a victim to these, or you can be challenged and it's a game that I gotta figure this part out.
And showing who you are through those moments. And that's why you become an example and you attract people. People want to be, no surprise why you're successful and have the amount of people in your organization that you have, because they see that in you. To your point, you walk the walk.
Yeah. So I gotta just say one thing, man, about what's next for me. I really want to change the way things has been done in real estate. This really have like a weight on me, right? How things are happening lately. I do feel that a lot of us not a lot of us, but a lot of people shifted away from doing things the right way, conducting business the right way. I do believe things are changing fast. We as leaders in this industry, we really have to step it up.
Yeah.
To step it up, to claim a position in the new way of doing business.
Yeah.
Right? I feel majority of the companies are restructuring the realtor side of this, but nobody really cares for the customer. Nobody really claims where the customer is getting the most amount of value, and that's the shift I want to make in the industry, where we're really doubling down on the knowledge and the expertise of our realtors to make sure that they will leave an impact, not just on their life, but impact people's life.
Yeah.
Right. So what's better than impacting your life is impacting other people's life.
Love it, man. That's a very nice way to close it out. I appreciate the time, man. And like I said, I'm excited to see what's next for you, man. And happy to witness it and looking forward to grow together.
I feel the same way about you, brother.
Thank you so much. Bro, that was awesome.